I'm Ben Socek, the owner and founder of Home Downsizing Solutions, and welcome to the Home Downsizing Show. Would you like to discover how to sell your house fast and easy without the stress or hassles of a typical house sale and have a smile on your face when you're in your new home? Are you thinking about selling your house so you can live a carefree life without the issues of home ownership? Are you thinking about selling your house and moving to a smaller home, apartment, or apartment community? Is your current house too big, have stairs that are a challenge to navigate, or otherwise is just not the right fit for your current lifestyle? Is your or your spouse's health making it difficult to remain in your current house? Do you currently want or need to find a senior living community that can provide a better living arrangement than you currently have? Are you an adult child or caregiver that needs to get a parent or loved one to a better, safer living arrangement than they currently have? Have you inherited a house, dealing with an estate or probate situation with real estate involved? If you said yes to any one of these situations I just mentioned and are looking for the fastest, easiest, most convenient way to sell a house, then you're definitely in the right place. As I mentioned, my name is Ben Socek, the owner and founder of Home Downsizing Solutions. I have been providing solutions for people that want to sell a house and move to a smaller home, apartment community, or other senior living arrangement for more than 25 years. We make selling a house and moving to a new home or apartment almost as easy as waving a magic wand. Being fully transparent, for the first 10 years or so, I really didn't know why homeowners would sell a house to myself or any other home buying company. But when the economy in 2008 and the real estate market changed drastically, I had more and more sellers contact me that didn't necessarily have to sell, but wanted to sell and downsize to a smaller home or apartment. These were the sellers that taught me why our Home Downsizing Solutions services were extremely beneficial and valuable. These were the sellers that taught me that being able to sell a house in its as-is condition, needing repairs and or updates, not having to get the house in show-ready condition, not having complete strangers tromping through their house, especially at inconvenient times, not knowing when a buyer would be able to close and buy their house, and not knowing what they would actually net from the sale of their house. These benefits were very valuable to them. Some sellers especially enjoyed being able to sell their house and not move right away. In some circumstances, the seller was on a waiting list for an apartment community, knew they were going to be moving in the next 30 to 90 days, but did not know exactly when that was going to happen. But they knew they wanted or needed to sell their house to make the move, and we were able to accommodate them. We could buy their house, but allow them to stay in their house until they could make the transition to their new home. The benefits we could provide with Home Downsizing Solutions were extremely valuable to these clients. If any or all of these benefits would be valuable to you, I invite you to contact Home Downsizing Solutions right now. My mission with Home Downsizing Solutions is to provide a stress and hassle-free way to sell a house and move to a living arrangement that provides you comfort, care, and the lifestyle that you or a loved one deserves. I know that it can be overwhelming to think about moving from a house a person has been in for 20, 30, 40 years or more. I know it can be even worse if you or a loved one have experienced a life event that is pushing a transition to some type of senior living arrangement to happen at a much faster time frame. Only Home Downsizing Solutions can provide the most stress and hassle-free solution to sell your house and move to senior living. Let's discuss the typical challenges that come with selling a house. If you want to sell a house, there are inherent challenges you must deal with. Getting the house in show-ready condition, doing repairs, updates, or deferred maintenance to get the house into a retail sale-ready condition, dealing with the untimely intrusion of showings with potential buyers and their agents that may or may not be serious or financially able to buy your house, the uncertainty of when it will sell, and the possibility of the cost and stress of taking care of a vacant house. dealing with picky buyers, whole house inspections, and the negotiations with buyers from the results of the whole house inspection and appraisal, the uncertainty of when the buyer will actually close, and what you will actually net from the sale of the house. Home Downsizing Solutions eliminates all of these challenges. With Home Downsizing Solutions, there is no need to deal with the hassles or cost of repairs, updates, or deferred maintenance to get your house into a retail, show-ready condition. Do you have the time or ability to contact multiple contractors for bids, oversee the work that is supposed to be getting done, and ensure that the repairs are completed correctly? There is no need to take weeks or months going through the stuff that has accumulated over the possible decades that you've been in your house. Just take what you want, sell or donate what you want, and leave the rest. We'll take care of it. With Home Downsizing Solutions, there is no whole house inspection or formal appraisal that can provide potential buyers with a list of deficiencies to renegotiate their agreement with you, which can often happen with a traditional home sale. We buy houses in any condition. Home Downsizing Solutions removes the catch-22s of selling a house and moving. If you sell your house and it sells too fast, it may cause a situation of having to move, then move again to where you actually wanted to move to in the first place. Or, if you move to your new home or apartment and your house hasn't sold, you now have a vacant house to worry about with items such as utilities, vacant house insurance, and potentially vandalism. Home Downsizing Solutions eliminates all of these items. If you need funds from the sale of your house to move to your next home or apartment, Home Downsizing Solutions provides a solution for that too, without having to incur the hassles or costs of a bridge loan. Many times, Home Downsizing Solutions can buy your house, but allow you to stay in your house for 30, 60, sometimes 90 days or more to accommodate your move and schedule. At Home Downsizing Solutions, we want to make the sale of your house and move to a new home, apartment community, or other senior living arrangement as stress and hassle-free as possible. Stay tuned. After the break, we'll discuss how Home Downsizing Solutions can be the right solution for you if you are considering selling your house and downsizing.
Are you ready to sell your house and downsize? Or maybe you're suffering from too much house? Home Downsizing Solutions can buy your house fast and give you a fair cash offer. No stress of showings, no strangers in your house, no costly repairs or updates. Home Downsizing Solutions has been paying cash for houses for over 25 years. Sell your house fast and get the stress-free lifestyle you deserve. Call or visit homedownsizing.com today.
Are you searching for an assisted living facility, retirement community, or other type of senior living community? If you're currently trying to find a better, safer place for your parent or loved one, you most likely are asking a few questions. 1, when do I need to move my loved one to a senior community? What signs or changes do I need to watch for when deciding if moving to a senior community is needed? 2, what do I need to know before searching for a senior community? Items such as what level of care does your loved one need? What type of care does your loved one need? How are you going to pay for the care that is needed? And what locations will be acceptable for you and your family? 3, how do I choose the right senior community? Do you know the primary must-ask questions when touring a senior community to ensure it's safe for your loved one? I created this critical guide based on a series of interviews I conducted with a senior placement agent that has been assisting families for more than 20 years. You can get this guide and access to the videos right here. And if you'd like to speak with me right now, just call or text me direct, 402-450-0199, or call my office toll-free at 855-291-5005. You may be thinking, having Home Downsizing Solutions just buy my house sounds great, but what's the catch? As I mentioned earlier, if the benefits that Home Downsizing Solutions provides are of enough value, there really isn't a catch. But let's discuss some common questions and concerns sellers have. The most common questions or thoughts home sellers typically have are, will I get less for my house than if I list with an agent? Am I just going to get a lowball offer for my house? Is this a legitimate company or just some scam? These are all valid questions and concerns to have. But first, let's discuss the term, what I call gross versus net. If a person wants to sell a house, there are inherent costs, transaction costs to take into account, or what I call the realities of selling a house. It can be confusing when an agent says that they can sell a house for $100,000, for example. The $100,000 is a gross number, not the actual net number that a seller will put in their pocket. Before we discuss transaction cost, let me say one thing, that these costs will depend on the current real estate market that you are in. If you're in a seller's market, like recently in 2021 through mid-2022, the cost may be less, as that was a time that was very easy for a seller to sell a house with lots of buyer demand. If you're in a buyer's market, like back in 2009, the transaction cost may be higher or much higher if you can attract a buyer to purchase your house at all. At Home Downsizing Solutions, to be as transparent as possible, we always attempt to provide you with current market information so you can see what your current market conditions are. Now let's discuss transaction costs. First, you have marketing costs. Marketing costs are simply an amount that it costs to market a house and find a buyer. These are typically commissions or fees paid to a real estate agent. A seller may choose to market the house themselves, but they will still typically pay or incur a cost to compensate the buyer's agent. And it will still take money, time, or both to find a buyer. Next, the buyer's discount. In most markets, a buyer's discount is a reality that houses do not sell for asking price. Buyers will typically always offer less than the asking price, and the sale amount will be determined, of course, with negotiations between the buyer and seller. Next, the closing cost. Depending on where you are geographically, the closing cost will be split between the seller and the buyer in a local traditional manner. However, in most markets, the buyer will typically ask the seller to pay for some or all of their closing costs. Again, who pays what amount will be negotiated with the buyer and seller. And a seller will most likely have to deal with some deficiencies discovered with a whole house inspection and the appraisal for the buyer's lender. The cost to correct these deficiencies will typically be the seller's responsibility. In most markets, these transaction costs can add up to 10% to as much as 15 to 20% of the original listing price of the house. The amount of discount will vary depending on market conditions, the condition of your house, and how desirable your house is to buyers. So, what a seller will net from the sale of the house may be much lower than the gross amount that an agent will tell you they can list the house for. The worst part of this is that a seller really never knows what they will specifically receive from the sale of their house until they're at the closing table, signing their closing documents. A cash offer from Home Downsizing Solutions may be less than you would net by putting your house on the market. But again, if you put a house on the market, there's no guarantee of what you will net, or even if or when it will sell. Also, Home Downsizing Solutions can typically make other offers than just an all-cash offer that makes it possible for you to receive a much higher sales price for your house. And we can explain all of these offers in detail when we meet to inspect your property. Next, let's discuss lowball offers. Another big concern is if a home buying company is just going to provide a lowball offer. My first response to this is that if my company only gave what people considered lowball offers, we would not still be in business after 25 years. I will warn you that there are companies that do just throw out lowball offers, knowing that most of their offers will be rejected, but that there will be some sellers that will accept. It's just a numbers game to them. Another part of my answer to this concern is that it depends on the seller's realistic expectations of the seller and the seller's reality of the current market. If a seller has recently had a real estate agent tell them that they can sell their house for, say, $120,000, but most others would agree it could only be sold for $100,000, the seller already has an inflated expectation of what their house will sell for. Another part of this equation is that if an agent or someone else has told a seller that it will only cost $10,000, for example, to repair and make updates to their house to bring the house up to a nice condition, but it will actually take $25,000 to $30,000, this again creates an inflated value expectation in the mind of the seller. However, in situations where a seller's numbers and expectations are similar to what we see in the market, we can usually be a great solution. One other point that I will mention is that as a home buying company, we are risking our funds or credit when we buy a house. So we may be more conservative with our numbers than if we were an agent that just wanted to list your house, that has no skin in the game. Now, let's discuss the concern about cash home buying companies being a scam. Because of today's technology, it doesn't take much to put up a website with the We Buy Houses message on and start running ads or deploy other marketing to get house sellers to contact them. Unfortunately, some of these companies are not real home buying companies. They may not have any intent or financial ability to buy houses. They are sometimes referred to as wholesalers. Their only goal is to get a contract to buy a house, then try to sell that contract to a person or company that actually can buy the house, collecting a check as the middleman. Since they have no skin in the game, like agents, they may have a tendency to overpromise or make you an offer that sounds too good to be true, and that indeed may be the case. If one of these companies cannot find a real buyer, that can leave a seller that thinks their house is sold in a very difficult position. To avoid this type of scam, I will give you 3 quick tips. 1, make sure the company has some type of local presence that will actually look at your house, not just make an offer from pictures. 2, can the company close and buy your house in 7 days or less? A legitimate home buying company should be able to purchase your house as soon as a title and closing company can check title and prepare the closing paperwork, usually in 7 days or less. If they need more time than that, they may be a scam. You may not want to close that quickly, but just know that a real home buying company should be able to close in just a few days. Third, ask how the company came up with their offer. As I mentioned earlier, we attempt to be very transparent with how we come up with our offers so you can see and understand how we arrive at them. As a bonus, I'd like to give you a 4th tip. Ask if they provide multiple offers or solutions to buy your house. To be the best help we can to you, if you want to sell a house, I think it's absolutely necessary to provide you with more than just one solution or offer so you can decide the best one for your specific situation. As an additional bonus item, check their Better Business Bureau, Google, or other reviews. Check how long they've been in business. Contact the title and closing company they say they use to get a reference from them, because they will know if the company can actually buy houses for cash. So what's the catch with home buying companies? As I mentioned, if you're working with a real, legitimate company like Home Downsizing Solutions, and if the benefits that we provide are of value to you, there really is no catch. Home Downsizing Solutions is a veteran-owned company, and you can check out our website at homedownsizing.com for just some of the enormous number of wonderful Better Business Bureau and Google reviews we've received. But don't just take my word for it. Let's have a look at some testimonials right now.
My name is Kathy. We've lived in this house for 37 years, and we just we felt like we couldn't take care of it, and so Ben was there for us. In just about 1 or 2 days, we decided He was very easy to talk to. One day he gave us one price, and then he came back about 2 days and gave us a better price. And I think it was just because. And so he's allowed us to live here for 2 months after he paid for us, so then we could give the money to our children to where we're going to live.
Yeah.
And so,
And I think he was overboard being nice to us because we hadn't experienced this. We didn't know basically what we were doing as far as moving and packing and stuff. And he allowed us to have as much time as we needed. And I think that was a big point. And whoever gets the house, I think it'll be in pretty good shape. And because we kept it up and we kept repairs on it, and we put a new shed out and back for the lawnmowers and snow blowers and so forth. Leaf guards, these windows are all new.
It's about the Sierra.
And so I think he was more than fair with that. I think
Didn't bother us for the 2 months,
No.
not even once.
No, he didn't call us.
Yeah, and so that was very nice. It was his house. So so thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You made it much, much easier for us because we're a couple old people who didn't even know what we were doing or getting into. But we knew we had to do it, and he made it very easy. So that.
Yeah, I got no complaints. Everything has worked out pretty smoothly, and Ben was pretty easy to talk to, and Christy was nice to me and handled everything pretty smooth and easy. When I decided to do this with them, we got it done in 5 days. So it was pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say. So if anybody that doesn't want to go the traditional route, selling a house, this Sarah group would, I would recommend them. At least give them a try anyway, or at least look into it. And you can make your own decision, but I think they've done right by me. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Ed and I wanted to thank you for all you've done for us in selling our home. Your whole company has been over backwards to help us. That means so much when you're trying to leave your home of 56 years. One of your fellow workers even went by our house and found mail, which was very important as it was medication that I was looking for. Who does that for a customer? We do not know of anyone in the market at this time, but if we do, we'll be more than happy to send them your way. Everything went so smoothly, I had very few problems at all.
Ben, just a note to express my appreciation for the quick and professional sale of my father's house. Because my father had a stroke and was subsequently placed in a nursing facility, I needed to sell his house and use the funds for his care. You and your company were always available to answer questions and provide the information I needed. We were able to close the house in 2 weeks without any difficulty at all. Thanks again for making this sale as painless as possible.
Dear Mrs. Socek, my wife and I wish to express our gratitude for your prompt, courteous, and efficient service when purchasing our house that we lived in for 32 plus years. As you recall, we had recently moved to an apartment so as to no longer need to cope with our home and yard maintenance issues. Had we used a traditional selling method, we would still have to deal with those issues, as well as being responsible for repairs, upgrades, and getting the house ready to show to potential buyers. A time-consuming and expensive process even after we no longer occupied the house. Your service made it possible for us to sidestep these issues and to have our house sold in a timely manner at a fair price. We appreciate being able to sell our house as is with a flexible departure date, and to leave in the house those items which we did not want to keep. We especially appreciate being presented with several offers from which you could select the offer that best suited our needs. You and your associate, Loretta McNally, were most helpful throughout the entire process. Our thanks to both of you. Sincerely, Robert.
Ben, I wanted to write you this letter so that you can share it with other potential clients. We were quite distraught over my mother's house. It was an older house that was in probate, and we just couldn't take care of her home and our home as well as everything else that was going on in our lives. This was also the first home we would ever be selling, so we were quite green to the process. When you came to visit us for the first walkthrough, you were very polite and very honest with your answers. Within 24 hours, we had a couple of options that we could choose from to sell my mother's house. You even offered the option to leave anything that we couldn't clear out of the home and that you would take care of it. That was such a relief for our family. Within about 3 weeks, the paperwork was complete and we signed on the bottom line. All of the utilities were transferred quickly, and that part of our lives came to an end. All of the workers at your office, Reese Nichols and Casey Title, were very patient as well. They made sure that everything was completed and explained it in terms that we could understand. Although the whole process was bittersweet, we couldn't have asked for anyone better to guide us through the process and respond to our questions quickly and with such patience. Thank you again for making this transition easy. You've certainly been a true asset.
If you would like to discover how to sell your house fast and easy without the typical stress or hassles, just call my office at 855-291-5005 right now. And if you call right now, we'll send you a copy of my book, Home Downsizing Secrets, a $17 value for free. So call us right now, toll free, at 855-291-5005. Home Downsizing Solutions really can make the sale of your house and move to a smaller home, apartment, or other senior living arrangement stress and hassle-free. Almost like waving a magic wand.